Baseball free agency is underway. Here are 10 players I'd like to see the Mets target. Well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watu-K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. Reminder, Wednesday night, 10 p.m., we go live. We do our 3 and Out. We do our Jets trivia. The chat seems to be growing pretty much every single week, so come on down, join the party. We always have a great time. But that's going to be Wednesday. Today I want to talk a little baseball, particularly the New York Mets. Now, I've already done a video, 5 free agents I don't want to see the Mets pursue, so be sure to check that video out. But there are quite a few players that I am looking for, and so far in this free agent market, as I record this, it's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. We've seen some pitchers sign, but more on the lower tier. You know, Philadelphia kept Aaron Nola. St. Louis signed Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson to 1-year deals. Signed Sonny Gray for 3 years, $75 million, who I did not want. So I'm not exactly shedding any tears on that. But as I said, even on that video, this is the time when major dominoes typically begin to fall. It's that very end of Thanksgiving, that very end of November, going into the month of December. So I do expect some action to start to go down this week. And with that in mind, I want to highlight a couple of players, actually 5 pitchers and 5 position players I think it would make sense for the Mets to target. Now, I'm not necessarily going with the best players here. I'm gonna quote the great Herb Brooks. I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones. Okay, so some of the names will be obvious, but some I think are going to go a little bit under the radar. Now, let's start with the pitchers, and I'm going to go from number 5 all the way to number 1. So, number 5, I'm going to go a little wild card. You know what? I'm going to give you a little bonus. I would like to see David Robertson come back. You know, even at 39 years old, he was a really, really good pitcher for the Mets. Never was the same after he went to Miami. I don't think he ever even wanted to be there. I'd be happy to give him a year, and let's see that Edwin Diaz, David Robertson combination in the 8th and 9th inning that we got deprived of last season. But I'll tell you a reliever who's really caught my interest, and it's Robert Stephenson, 31 years old. So the Rays acquired him from Pittsburgh in June. Nobody paid attention to this trade, but you know that Tampa Bay knows how to, scout talent and recognize it. But what Stevenson started to do around that time, just after he got to Tampa Bay, was use this cut fastball, and he threw it over 300 times the rest of the season. Opposing batters had a 101 batting average against that cutter. That is really, really good. So he's got that fastball. He's got a cutter that comes in 8 miles an hour slower than the fastball. Batters could not figure it out. And I'll tell you what, I know a lot of people are talking about Josh Hader. You know, they want Hader and Diaz and Hader. Josh Hader ain't coming here to pitch the 8th inning. Edwin Diaz is the closer. Josh Hader, in my mind, will not be a New York Met. See if I'm wrong, but I don't think that's going to happen. What the Mets need to do, and we saw this with teams like Texas, teams like Arizona that made the World Series, you got to build up some depth in the bullpen. You never know who's going to have a big year, but this is a guy, Stevenson, who seems to be figuring it out by changing his pitching arsenal, and I think whoever signs him is going to reap some rewards. Number 4 for me, believe it or not, is going to be Luisseverino. I know he was horrible last year. He had a 7.49 ERA going into August, but towards the end of the season, he started to turn around before a strained oblique ended his season, and in those his final 4 starts, he had his strikeouts started to go up, his walks started to go down. I think that the Mets are going to try a couple of prove-it deals, 1-year prove-it deals, and I think it would make sense for him to do it with the Mets. So let's see what he could do. So 1-year prove-it deal. Let's see what happens. 30 years old, high upside. I give it a shot. Number 3, Eduardorodriguez, the 31-year-old left-hander. Now, he was pitching in Detroit last year. I was actually at the game he pitched against the Mets. That was Justin Verlander's debut, where he immediately gave up a home run to open the game. But Rodriguez dominated the Mets that day. I know that's not saying much because, a batting tee could have dominated the Mets offense last year. But seriously. But Rodriguez was going to be traded to the Dodgers. He vetoed the trade. He had the right to do that. at. But he looked about as good as he's looked in about 3 years, and that's why he opted out of his remaining 3 years and $49 million to try to get more money on the open market. And he also shuffled his repertoire too, kind of like Stevenson. He let go of his sinker fastball, and now he basically has a fastball in the low 90s, a cutter that he commands very well, and a changeup that was one of the best swing and miss pitches in baseball. And at 31 years old, I think this is a solid piece that you could put in the middle of your rotation for the next maybe 4 years or so, 4 to 5 years. So that one's got me intrigued. Number 2, Jordan Montgomery, 31. I have been intrigued with him for a while. Left-handed, durable, maybe not flashy, but steady and reliable. So he doesn't rely on the high-end velocity, and that's one thing that I do like because that gives me the idea he can pitch. He's less prone to injury. But the fact that he performed as well as he did in big games, that means something to me. With the Rangers, ever since he went to the Rangers from the Cardinals at the deadline, he went 4-2 with a 2.79 ERA in 11 starts, and then in the postseason, 3-1 with a 2.9 ERA over 6 games. Oh, and here's another reason why I really want Montgomery. He was traded during the year. What that means is he could not be given a qualifying offer after the season. So unlike some of these other starting pitchers like Blake Snell, like Aaron Nola, he would not have any draft pick compensation attached to him, and to me that matters. So Montgomery is somebody I would love to see. And of course, number 1 is Yoshinobu I've done a deep dive on Yamamoto already, so you can check that out in the archives if you would like. But I'll just go over 1 or 2 things. In 900 career innings, his ERA is 1.82. I mean, come on. 25 years old, plus velocity, a ridiculous splitter, a very, very low home run rate. There was 2 different fastballs, plus a cutter, plus a high 70s curveball as well. At 25 years old, you get 7 or 8 years would be absolutely worth it to me. Yamamoto is going to get as much attention as anybody, and the Mets need to do everything they can to get him in here. People are talking about the Mets have to be the one to make the highest offer to Shohei and then if he doesn't come, he doesn't come, but you have to at least make the biggest offer. I actually feel that way about Yamamoto. The Mets need to make the biggest offer to this pitcher. All right, those are my pitchers. Now I'm going to look at some batters. Now, here's the thing. I'm not looking at a lot of crazy long-term deals for position players because if you look at the Mets' future, if you look at their prospects, their top 8 prospects are all position players. So you got Luis Angel Acuna, Drew Gilbert, Jet Williams, Ronnie Mauricio, Kevin Parada, Ryan Clifford, Colin Houck, and Marco Vargas. Those are the Mets' top 8 prospects. So what I'm really looking for here is some fill-ins, guys you can sign for 1 or 2 years. There may be 1 or 2 exceptions to that. We'll get there. But I'm just looking for some guys to sort of fill in, be good guys in the clubhouse, have some good work ethic, and let's see what happens. So the first one I have in mind, number 5 in my top 5, is Jeimercandelario, corner infielder, 30 years old. Now, he was a prospect who had some hype but didn't really break out till he turned 26, 27 years old. He's played with Washington, played with the Cubs. He's a very good fastball hitter, and he's put up a very good OPS plus in 3 of the last 4 years. And then in 2023, he put up new career highs in both home runs and stolen bases. Just seems to be that good, useful player that you want up in a big spot. All right, number 4, Lourdesgurriel Jr., the 30-year-old outfielder who was with the Diamondbacks. So he made his first All-Star team in 2023, had a career-high 24 home runs, drove in 82. His OPS was 772. Also, he ranked in the top quarter in the league in both hard hit percentage, strikeout percentage, played very good defense. Of course, he helped Arizona reach the World Series as well. I think there'll be some good competition for his services, but I would look at Gurriel. Okay, number 3 would be jdmartinez, the 36-year-old DH. I would go with a 1-year deal here. 2, maybe an option for a second year. I think that would be enough. Martinez has been an all-star in each of the last 5 full seasons. Last year with the Dodgers, he hit 33 home runs, 101 RBIs, had an OPS of 893. For 1 year, $10 million, that's pretty dang good. So I don't know if he's going to accept 1 year for $10 million again. But for teams that don't get Ohtani, I think Martinez can be a natural second option as well. Now, The only thing is his strikeout rate is going up. All right, so that is one concern. He had on non-fastballs, he swung and missed on 45% of those pitches. So that is the one concern. I definitely cannot go more than 2 years. Ideally, it would be 1 plus an option for Martinez. All right, number 2. You might be a little surprised I got this player ranked at number 2. And I'm not going with Cody Bellinger because I just think he's going to command too long of a contract. I think other teams are going to be more aggressive for him. I want the Mets to use the bulk of their resources towards pitching, so I'm looking at a little bit less on the batters. Okay, but number 2 for me is Harrison Bader, the 29-year-old center fielder. He'll probably get about 2 years. And with the abundance of outfield prospects that the Mets have, Gilbert, Clifford, Alex Ramirez, possibly Jet Williams, and Acuna could move to the outfield as well, I really feel all you need is about a 2-year plan for an outfielder. Okay, Bader plays fantastic center field defense. You can move Brandonnimmo over to left field if you wanted to do that. And he did set a career high last year in both stolen bases and hits taken away. Has very good arm strength as well. The one thing you're worried about with is his durability. He has not played in more than 103 games since 2019. So you use him maybe not every day, but I think most days, and see what you can do there. But I think for a 2-year deal, I think Harrison Bader would make a lot of sense. Add some speed, add some defense, and add some good vibes. From what I hear, he's a very well-liked guy in the clubhouse. So that's what I would like to see there. And the number 1 batter, you have to make an exception, is Shohei Ohtani, batter/pitcher. To me, it's all about what does Ohtani really want? Does he want to win more than anything? Does he want to join a ready-made contender? Does he want to join a very good team where his presence will take that team over the top? Does he want to be in charge? Does he want to be the alpha male? Or is money the most important? Is location the most important? We really don't know. And the other thing we can't really figure out is the contract, the structure of this contract. Because Ohtani just had Tommy John surgery. He's not going to pitch in 2024, but he should have no issues hitting in 2023. So I could see the first year looking a little bit different. Who's to say? But I think the fact that maybe he might even be looking for a shorter term opportunity, because he won't be pitching this year. And if he's looking for something a little short term right now, maybe that includes more teams in the race than just the Mets, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Giants. It might open it up to some other teams out there as well. And then who knows? Who knows what kind of a bidding war we might have. But, it's going to be pretty fascinating. The idea that Ohtani can return to being that two-way force, like we haven't seen since, Babe Ruth, way back when. But this is probably the most anticipated free agent in baseball history. It's going to be fascinating to see where he goes. But just his bat alone is worth a huge, huge contract. I'm just fascinated to see what the structure of his contract is going to look like. All right, those are my 10 free agents that I would like to see the Mets pursue. Let's see how many they get, if they do get any. What free agents would you like to see the Mets pursue? Put it right down there in the comments. And if you're not a Mets fan, who is your team and who would you like to see them pursue? Maybe it's the Yankees, maybe it's the Red Sox, whoever it may be, the Braves. I'd like to see your thoughts. But thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where, the Wicker Chair.